Hello, hello, beautiful people. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Earth Grid. And if you think about meridians, energy meridians throughout the body in the Chinese medicine perspective, sometimes if you have an injury to that area or you have scar tissue in that area, it makes a disruption so that the energy does not flow throughout the body in its ideal, most balanced form. In the same way, when we're talking about the Earth Grid, inside of the earth, there are veins of mineral and crystal gemstone deposits throughout the earth, and they each have a certain capacity for holding vibrational energy. We've been moving through a shift and continue to move through that shift, and as the Earth Grid activates, there are areas in which have been mined that, just like scar tissue on the human body, there are now blockages for that energy to flow through the Earth's core in the ways that are most ideal. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about how to create a grid today, to go into meditation with that grid once it's been built, and to hold space for reactivating the place within the earth where these gemstones were once mined in order to restore flow in the earth activation. It's really important before you start this process to go ahead and make sure that your stones are cleansed. I will do another video on that. Yes, you can cleanse stones in ocean water. Yes, you can cleanse stones under the sink. Yes, you can cleanse stones with sage. Many times people are using sage. If you're not a smoke worker, if you have not taught yourself to observe the way that smoke moves, just smudging something with sage usually isn't very thorough. If you indeed do watch the way that the smoke is interacting with whatever it is that you're smudging, that will give you a more accurate representation of whether or not something's actually cleansed or not. If that's new to you, I would recommend to go ahead and watch this video about how to use water from a height and the consistency that you can physically feel to know that a stone is indeed cleansed. So go ahead and make sure that you watch that video and then continue on to see how we use stones to make a grid. The first step is to select an area. This is a nice large portion of land. I'm going to be making a large grid just because I have so many stones, but you want it to be relatively flat. You're going to select where you want the center to be and start from there. At the end of making your earth grid, you'll be placing a straight up crystal in the center. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to be laying things out equidistant from each other so that you're making sure that everything is even, symmetrical in terms of weight and balance of stones. So here I have a number of different gemstones. Different stones have a different feel to them, so I group them by what feels similar, since that's what you're wanting to balance out, and also the sizing of things. Okay, so as you can see, I've kind of grouped things by stone, by feel, and really it's more about feel than anything else. For example, these chunks of aquamarine feel like they fit over here more than these chunks of aquamarine do. So you just kind of need to feel into what feels like a vibrational match. And from there, you're going to go into equa sizes and put them equidistant from each other. The other thing you're going to want to be looking for is what your center crystal is going to be. This is the one that I thought would be my center crystal because it just has a beautiful feel. It has a very sharp tip. You want the tip to be one-pointed. It's very important. You don't want a double terminated quartz, and you don't want it to have multiple points. Okay, just a one point. However, when I was going through my stones, this little tiny guy showed up, and it's very classic. You know, things come in all different shapes and sizes, but the feeling of this stone is saying, oh no, I belong at the center. So just pay attention to your intuition, even if it's contrary to what you might think is what needs to be happening. So right off the bat, you can see how things with a similar feeling, the copal and amber, or this is a piece of black kyanite, and this is a 7-element stone that has a very similar feel to it. The weighting is balanced out. Nice balanced crystal grid. Just place the center point. Being careful not to obstruct my grid. going straight up in the very center of the circle. See that? She's now straight up. So what I'll do now is I'll go into a state of meditation just on the outside of the grid here. And as I go into meditation, you can start with the intention of earth grid activation, but most of all is just holding space for isness, holding space for the truth of reality beyond words. You're going into a place of non-thinking, even if it's just a lasso meditation, meaning recognizing when your thoughts are running or your senses are running. But the idea is that as you go into a state of calm and holding space for all of these stones, for your own true essence to come into a place of stillness, and in that stillness state, one remembers where they're from, one activates at their soul resonance level. All right, much love, everyone. See you on the flip side.